Hi there BookTube, it's Eleanor here, and it's time again for me to talk about what I've read this week. I've had a really good reading week. I've read 2 full books and I'm partway through a third, and I've also read a graphic novel. So without further ado, I shall be starting with what I read first, and that was Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. I read this as part of a group read on Sarah from Books and Junks and Lindsay Ray from Lindsay Ray on their Reading Adventures Goodreads group, and Ender's Game was Sarah's pick for the month, and I thought I'd start with that. I really enjoyed this book. The story is about Ender. He is a young boy, I mean very young, probably about 6 or 7 when this book starts, and he's recruited by the army to help save the world. The kids in this book play a game called Buggers and Astronauts, and this mirrors what's really happened. A number of years ago, I believe it's around 80, there was an invasion from an alien planet, and the humans only managed to get away, or the humans only managed to survive because of one man's sacrifice. And now the humans are trying to prepare in case there's another war and to be able to defend themselves, and so they are looking for the next person who can lead and take control of the fleet. They've chosen to look at children because they think differently and they're hoping that they'll have one up on the enemy. So the story just follows Ender in this process. It also follows his 2 siblings, Valentine and Peter, and their part in what is happening in this world and the battle that they're going to face. Both Valentine and Peter didn't make the grade. They're both total opposites. Valentine is very peaceful and nice and gets on really well with Ender, whereas Peter is miserable and unhappy because he didn't make the grade and is quite sadistic in his tendencies. However, they are both geniuses like Ender, so it's interesting to see the different paths that they take in this story compared to Ender, who's obviously been given the opportunity to continue on and learn how to become a commander. I really enjoyed this book. I liked some of the twists and turns. I liked some of the action. The only thing that really I wasn't so keen on is I felt that there was quite a lot of emphasis on the battles, and I felt like that dragged a little bit. So I did feel it was a bit up and down for me. So I really enjoyed the story. I liked the concept, enjoyed the book. It was a fast, easy read. So I gave it 4 stars. Then I decided that I was going to watch the film. I wanted to watch the film after reading the book just to sort of have something to compare it to. And I have to say it was quite a disappointment. They don't follow any of the siblings' storyline in this. It's all about Ender. Ender in the book I had empathy for and quite enjoyed reading about him. In the film I didn't really feel anything for him at all. He was much older. Or so it seemed in the film, and that added an aspect that meant that there was an aspect that was slightly missing from it, and yeah, it just sort of fell flat for me really, and it wasn't that enjoyable to watch. So I would say 2.5, 3 stars for the film. So second this month, finally in the post, I received the 5th and final book in the Lux series, Opposition by Jennifer L. Armentrout. So anyway, I wanted to complete this series. It was an okay series for me. I'd been enjoying it, and I definitely wanted to see what happened in the end. As the book starts, I'm already enjoying it. I've got a feeling that it's going to be a bit different. I've got a feeling I'm going to enjoy the way this is going to go. It just seems like there is a slightly different tone to it, and perhaps it's going to go in a way that I didn't think. I liked the concept and the idea of this series. Overall it reminded me a little bit, and I don't know if anybody else watched this, but when I was younger I watched Roswell. It reminded me a little bit of that TV series, although I wasn't so keen on the male lead in the TV series, and I can imagine in my head that Damon in this book is much hotter. I like the writing. It's really engaging. It really draws you into the story, and at one point I even laughed out loud. I'll mention what it's about, but I won't say too much because obviously I don't want to spoil the plot. But anyone that's read this book, the Lunchables comment really had me giggling to myself. I did feel that the constant love scenes between Damon and Katie got a little bit tired and a little bit long-winded and a little bit over the top in the end. I think we all knew that they loved each other, and I think we all knew that they were passionate and they were together, and and I just didn't feel like I needed that shoved in my face every 2 pages, so that was something that kind of drew me out of the story a little bit. So it's for that reason that I gave this book 4 stars rather than a 5 stars. It was just not overall a complete 100% wow, this knocked me dead type of book. It was good, I enjoyed it, the plot got better as the books went on. It was just the Damon-Katie dynamic, I think, just got a little bit too much for me in this final book. However, if you like YA and you like alien books, or you want to try an alien book because you haven't tried one before, then I definitely recommend this to read. So that's the 2 books and the 1 film that I've watched and read this week. And then there's 2 books that I've started but that I haven't finished, so I'm going to show you them briefly. The first one I picked up after seeing a lot of booktubers talk about it after Books in My Bag, and that is The Bookshop Book by Jen Campbell, and I am just reading this in chunks and bits and bobs as I feel like it, just picking it up and reading a couple of pages at a time. It's a non-fiction book and it's about 300 or so different bookshops all over the world, but it's also much more than that. There's fun facts about books and bookish type people, and there's also lots of mini interviews with authors about their favourite bookshops and their favourite places, and it's just been a really nice read so far. I'm really enjoying it. I definitely recommend this. And then the next book that I am partway through is the BookTube Reading Buddies group read for this month, and that is East of Eden by John Steinbeck. I really like my copy of this book, although I'm still to work out the meaning behind it, but I'm sure I will by the end. I'm really enjoying it so far. It's not the type of book that I've been reading much of lately, so it has taken me a little while to sort of get into it. It's very descriptive and it's not as fast paced as some of perhaps the YA books that I've been reading and enjoying, so it's just taken me a while to get into it, but I've read about 120 pages so far, and this will be the next book that I finish. I'm not very good at picking up more than 1 book at a time unless it's sort of not 1 non-fiction and 1 fiction, so I will be completing this before I start my next one. So now I want to talk about the books that I might read next week. Firstly, finally my box set arrived that I'd ordered a little while ago of the Percy Jackson series. So I've got Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan. It's a little bit shimmery. I've seen the film of this and I kind of know the basic idea behind it, but I have never read the books, and so I am taking part in a Percy Jackson read along with some other people on Goodreads, and we're all reading these for the first time, so I'm interested to see what I think of this. I have got Feast of Crows by George R.R. Martin. This is my buddy read on Goodread Reading Buddies. There's quite a few of us reading this month. It is a big old chunky book, so yeah, it's a good 800 odd pages, so I need to get to that at some point soon. And then I've also got The Queen of the Tearling by Erica Johansson to pick from. Always like to show the red. Very pretty. So I've got that one to pick from. And then my real life book club this month is reading We're All Completely Beside Ourselves by Karen Joy Fowler. I have to say I don't know much about this. I was actually sent this book as one of my reading year books, and then I haven't got round to it yet. And when it was picked for the Waterstones book club that I'm part of, I thought, oh well, it's about time I give that a go. So I'll read you the back. Rosemary doesn't talk very much about certain things. She's silent. She had a sister Fern, her whirlwind other half, who vanished from her life in circumstances she wishes she could forget, and it's been 10 years since she last saw her beloved older brother Lowell. Now at college, Rosemary starts to see that she can't go forward without going back to the time when, aged 5, she was sent away from home to her grandparents and returned to find Fern gone. So yeah, quite intriguing, and that's another book that I could pick up this week. So that is all of the books that I've read and books I want to consider reading next week. What are you reading? Have you read any of these books? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Bye for now, BookTube.